All right, so today we're diving into a story that seems like it's got everyone talking. And that's the relationship between Bill Belichick and Jordon Hudson. You've probably seen the headlines
Oh, yeah, that's it.
about their 48-year age gap, the red carpet appearances, even a little roast from Snoop Dogg himself at the NFL Honors.
Oh, yeah, he did not hold back.
No, he did not. So today we're going beyond the surface to try to unpack what makes this relationship so fascinating, and maybe even what it says about us as a society.
Yeah, and you know what's interesting is how this story, it goes way beyond just sports news, right?
Yeah.
It's sparking these conversations about age.
Yeah.
About relationships. What we consider normal in the world of celebrity is really kind of fascinating.
Yeah, it definitely feels like more than just your average celebrity gossip. So for those who haven't been following every twist and turn, let's start with the basics. Bill Belichick, legendary, often stoic coach known for leading the New England Patriots to 6 Super Bowl victories, is 72 years old. Jordon Hudson, his girlfriend, is a 24-year-old former cheerleader who has been making waves in the philanthropic world. Their relationship became public last year, and since then, they haven't exactly shied away from the spotlight.
Oh, yeah, they've been front and center, haven't they?
Yeah.
And that very public presence has really fueled a lot of the intrigue. Take, for example, their recent appearance at the NFL Honors ceremony. Belichick keeping it classic in his red NFL 100 blazer. You know, a symbol of the league's most influential figures. He was almost overshadowed by Hudson, who turned heads in this really daring silver ensemble.
Yeah, I read about that. Sounds like she's not afraid to make a statement with her fashion choices. But that night wasn't just about fashion. The real buzz started when the host Snoop Dogg took aim at their age difference with a joke that had everyone talking. He said, and I quote, "I've been a football fan for a long, long time. I mean, I remember back when the Cowboys was good. I remember back when the Chiefs was bad. And I remember, what was it? Bill Belichick's girlfriend wasn't even born yet." Outright.
Yeah, I mean, that was a bold move, to kind of put the spotlight on their age gap, a way that, some might find uncomfortable. Hudson seemed visibly surprised, but Belichick just kind of chuckled it off. It's interesting, though. The cameras caught Deion Sanders, former NFL star and now a college football coach, laughing hysterically. So it brings up a point. How much of this is just good-natured ribbing in the world of sports and celebrity, and how much of it maybe crosses a line?
Yeah, that's a good question. It's like everyone's trying to figure out the rules of engagement here. Is it okay to joke about their age difference? Are they in on the joke? Or is this a situation where the public is projecting their own discomfort onto the couple?
I think that's really a key part of what makes this story so fascinating. It forces us to kind of examine our own biases and assumptions about age, about relationships. Are we uncomfortable because of the age gap itself? Or because it challenges our preconceived notions of what a successful, powerful man should look like with a partner?
So it's almost like their relationship is a mirror, reflecting our own societal values back at us. We can't help but analyze and judge even if we don't realize we're doing it.
Precisely. And it's not just about age. It's about power dynamics, gender roles, the expectations we place on public figures. It's a lot to unpack.
It really is. And speaking of unpacking, there's another layer to this story that's been fueling the rumor mill, the ring mystery.
The ring? Oh, yeah. Hudson has been spotted wearing a prominent ring on that finger, leading to a frenzy of speculation about a possible engagement.
Right, but then I also read that she hinted it might be her BSU cheerleading national championship ring. So is she playing with the media? Or is she genuinely trying to keep her personal life private?
It's really hard to say for sure, but I think her willingness to even address the rumors, even indirectly, shows that she's aware of the public's interest and how her actions are being interpreted. It's like she's walking this tightrope, between maintaining some privacy but acknowledging the reality of dating someone in the spotlight.
So not shying away from the attention, but also not giving the media exactly what they want. It's a delicate balance. Okay, so we've got age, we've got fashion, we've got jokes, we've got rings. It's a lot for a relationship to withstand. But beyond all the surface level buzz, what do we actually know about the dynamics between them? What kind of connection do they seem to have?
Well, to understand that, I think we need to go back to the beginning, where it all began.
Yeah.
Reports suggest that they met on a flight back in 2021 when Hudson was still in college.
Yeah.
Wow, so their relationship goes back further than most people realize. And it's interesting because since then, she's been present at some pretty key moments in Belichick's career. She was the name for his new coaching position at UNC, the release of his book, even attended Netflix's roast of Tom Brady, which, given his history with Brady, couldn't have been easy.
No, not at all. It definitely suggests a level of commitment and support that goes beyond, just a casual fling. And there are other hints that their connection runs deeper than just attending events together.
Like what? Fill me in, I'm hooked.
Well, there's that Instagram post where Hudson shared a photo of a bouquet of roses with a caption, "Behind his stern facade."
Oh, that's right. She's implying there's more to him than just the gruff coach persona the public is used to seeing. It almost sounds like she's saying, hey, he's not just this football machine. He's a human being with feelings.
Exactly. And that post, along with, their other public appearances,
Yeah.
really adds another dimension to this story. It goes beyond just the age gap and the spectacle of it all. There seems to be a genuine connection there.
Yeah, and it's that connection, that glimpse of something real amidst all the noise. That, I think, is what keeps people so invested in this story. So we've got the backstory, the public appearances, the hints of romance. Where do we go from here?
Well, now that we've laid the groundwork, I think it's time to dig a little deeper into the public's reaction. Why are people so fascinated by this relationship? What does it say about our own values and beliefs? And perhaps most importantly, what can we learn from it? It's fascinating. This relationship, it seems to touch a nerve in so many people. And we've seen, similar age gaps in other celebrity couples. But this one seems to generate an entirely different level of scrutiny.
Yeah, you're right. There's something about this particular pairing that really seems to get under people's skin. Do you think it has to do with Belichick's reputation?
I think that plays a big part. He spent decades cultivating this image of the stoic, laser-focused coach. He's known for being private, disciplined, all about football.
Yeah, the ultimate football mastermind, right? Not exactly someone you'd picture on the red carpet with a glamorous young girlfriend.
Exactly. So to see him with someone like Hudson, who's vibrant, outgoing, and embraces the spotlight, it creates this stark contrast. That kind of challenges our perception of him.
Yeah, it's like we're seeing a side of him we never knew existed. And maybe some people just aren't comfortable with that.
That's a great point. We tend to put public figures in boxes. And when they step outside those boxes, it can be jarring for us. It makes us question our own assumptions about them, and maybe even about ourselves.
It's like this relationship is forcing us to confront our own biases about age and what's considered appropriate in a romantic relationship. Are we uncomfortable because of the age difference itself? Or because it challenges our ideas about power and gender roles and what a successful relationship should look like?
That's a really important quotient. And it's easy to get caught up in the surface level details. But this story is really a springboard for a much deeper conversation about societal norms and how we view relationships in general. Think about it. If the roles were reversed, if it was a 72-year-old woman dating a 24-year-old man, would the reaction be the same? Would people be as quick to judge?
That's a really interesting point. It makes you wonder how much of the criticism is rooted in sexism and the double standards that still exist for men and women in relationships.
Exactly. And it goes beyond just romantic relationships. Think about how we perceive older women in general versus older men. There's a lot of societal pressure on women to maintain their youthfulness, while men are often seen as more distinguished or powerful as they age.
So in a way, this relationship is highlighting those inequalities. It's making us confront the ways in which we judge people based on their age and their gender, even if we don't realize we're doing it.
I think that's a big part of it. And it's something that we need to be more conscious of, not just in the context of celebrity relationships, but in our own lives as well. Right. How do we treat people of different ages? Do we value their experiences and perspectives equally? These are questions that we should all be asking ourselves.
Okay, so we've talked about ageism, sexism, societal double standards, but there's another element at play here that I think can't be ignored, and that is the role of social media.
Oh, absolutely. This relationship wouldn't be generating nearly as much buzz if it weren't for the constant churn of social media commentary. It's like everyone has a front row seat to their lives, and everyone feels entitled to an opinion.
It's true. Every photo, every outing, every Instagram caption is dissected and debated. It's like we're all living in a giant gossip column.
And that creates this feedback loop where the more attention the relationship gets, the more people feel compelled to weigh in. It's like a real-life soap opera playing out on our screens.
And it's also worth noting that social media tends to amplify the most extreme viewpoints. The most judgmental comments, the snarkiest tweets. Those are the ones that get the most likes and shares.
You're right. It creates this echo chamber where negativity and cynicism can thrive, and it can be really tough for anyone, even someone as famous as Bill Belichick, to tune out that noise.
Especially when you consider that he's known for being intensely private. It's like he's suddenly being forced to live his life under a microscope, and that can't be easy.
No, it can't. And it makes you wonder how much of their public persona is genuine and how much of it is a reaction to the constant scrutiny they're under.
Right. Are they putting on a happy face for the cameras to try to control the narrative? Or are they genuinely happy and just trying to live their lives the best they can, despite all the noise?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? And ultimately, it's one that only they can answer. But I think it's important for us as observers to remember that there are real people at the heart of this story. People with feelings and complexities that we may never fully understand.
It's a good reminder that even the most famous people are still human. They have their own hopes and fears and vulnerabilities. And while it's natural to be curious about their lives, it's also important to respect their boundaries and remember that they deserve privacy and compassion just like anyone else.
I completely agree. And that brings us to a really important point. As we continue to unpack this story, it's crucial to be mindful of the language we use and the judgments we make.
You're right, it's easy to get caught up in the gossip and the sensationalism, but we need to remember that we're talking about real people's lives. Words have power, and we have a responsibility to use them thoughtfully.
Exactly. So as we move forward, let's try to shift the focus away from the surface-level details and delve into the more nuanced aspects of this relationship. What can we learn about communication, compromise, navigating differences in a relationship?
I'm ready for that. Let's go beyond the headlines and explore what this relationship might teach us about the complexities of love age and the human experience. Okay, so we've talked about the societal pressures, the double standards, and the social media frenzy. But I want to kind of bring it back to something you mentioned earlier. What can we actually learn from Bill Belichick and Jordon Hudson's relationship?
I think that's a great question. And
Yeah.
I think there's a lot to unpack there. Beyond the age difference and the celebrity factor, this is ultimately a story about two people who have chosen to be together, despite the challenges and the scrutiny they face.
And that in itself, I think, is a powerful message, right? It suggests that love and connection can transcend societal expectations and that happiness can be found in unexpected places.
Exactly. It challenges us to question our own assumptions about what a successful relationship looks like. Does it have to fit a certain mold? Do we need to conform to societal norms to find love and fulfillment?
And it makes you wonder what they've learned from each other. Belichick, who spent his life in this high-pressure world of professional football, might be experiencing a new level of freedom and spontaneity with Hudson.
That's an interesting perspective. Maybe she's brought a sense of lightness and joy into his life, a reminder that there's more to life than winning championships. And on the flip side, he might be offering her stability and guidance, and a different perspective on the world.
Right. It's like they're each bringing something unique to the table, something that complements the other. And that, to me, is the foundation of any strong relationship, regardless of age.
Absolutely. It's about finding someone who challenges you, supports you, makes you want to be a better version of yourself. And who knows, maybe that's exactly what they found in each other.
Makes you think about how we define success in relationships. Is it about longevity, shared interests, supporting each other's goals? Or is it simply about finding someone who makes you happy, regardless of what other people think?
Those are all valid questions. And I don't think there's a single right answer. What matters most is that the people involved feel fulfilled and respected within the relationship.
Yeah, and that's something we often lose sight of when we're so caught up in judging other people's choices. We forget that ultimately happiness is a personal journey, and what works for one couple might not work for another.
Exactly. There's no one-size-fits-all approach to relationships. And maybe that's one of the most important takeaways from this story, the reminder that we need to be more open-minded and accepting of different relationship models.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, what's the final thought you want to leave our listeners with? What's the one thing you hope they take away from this conversation?
Well, I hope they remember that every relationship is unique, and that judging a relationship based on surface-level details or societal norms can blind us to the beauty and complexity of human connection. Bill Belichick and Jordon Hudson's story is a reminder that love can blossom in unexpected places, and that true happiness comes from following your own path, not the path dictated by others.
Beautifully said. And I think it's a message we all need to hear, especially in a world where we're constantly bombarded with images of perfect relationships. So the next time you see a headline about Belichick and Hudson, remember that there's more to their story than meets the eye. There's a human connection there, a bond that defies easy categorization. And who knows, maybe their unconventional love story will inspire us all to be a little more open-minded, a little more compassionate, and a little less quick to judge.
I couldn't agree more.
And to our listener, thank you for diving deep with us today. We hope this conversation has sparked some new insights and encouraged you to look beyond the surface, not just in the world of celebrity, but in all aspects of your life. Until next time, stay curious.